Hello everyone, this video is going to be about the cycle that people end up trapped in with a narcissistic person, often due to things like the trauma bond, financial abuse, fear, anxiety. Narcissists tend to repeat a similar sort of cycle within their relationships. At the end of the video, there is going to be some ideas, some questions to ask yourself to try and work out whether you need to leave the relationship you are in, and some ideas to help you recover from a narcissistic relationship. Thank you very much to all the returning subscribers. If you are new to the channel, this channel is all about the narcissist personality disorder, to give you more understanding of the things you've been through throughout your life, how to handle narcissistic people if you cannot go no contact, and different methods to find what works for you to recover from narcissistic abuse. If you do find the information helpful on the channel, please do subscribe. So when it comes to most narcissistic people, at some point they will love bomb you. Narcissistic parents can go through a stage of love bombing and showering the golden child with attention to get their needs met. Within a personal relationship, a partner, they will often swoop in with the love bombing stage, with the fast involvement within the relationship. And they rely on that fast involvement to influence you into believing something that isn't necessarily true. Narcissistic bosses can also do this. They can shower you with flattery, they can shower you with attention, they can shower you with gifts, they can shower you with words of affirmation, they can mirror all your likes and dislikes, they can sell all your dreams to you. They can say things like, I'd never hurt you. I've never met anyone like you before. You are perfect for this job. You understand me better than anyone ever has. They swoop in to swoop you off your feet, to get you hooked, to create that emotional bond so that you naturally then begin to care for them as a person and want to help them as a person. If you were raised by narcissistic parents, not the push-pull of that kind of a relationship, when you meet a narcissist with that quick involvement, you can feel like you're being understood, like you've never been understood before. So when they say something like this to you, it matches how you are feeling. Often because you don't think like a narcissist, you don't see that people like this exist, that people are there with a lack of empathy, willing to exploit people to meet a need of their own. When we don't go around behaving like this, we don't recognise it in another person because we don't think somebody would do this to another person. Once we've created that emotional bond, we can then be or feel like we can be vulnerable around them, opening up to them about our weaknesses, which one day they will use against us. Which is often in the devaluation stage. A narcissist learns all your weaknesses, they learn all your strengths, they learn all your dreams so that they can sell your dreams to you. They can slowly pick you apart on your strength, and they can get those weaknesses and tear them wide open to get you to react to them. They will bait you into a situation where you react to them so that they can blame you for your behaviour and not their actions. Narcissists are highly unwilling to accept responsibility for their own behaviour. In the devaluation stage, they want to shame you into believing you are worth less than you actually are, so that they can feel better about themselves and so that they can gain further power and control over you. They are arrogant enough to feel like it's okay to do this to other people to meet a need of their own because they believe they are special and entitled to do so. With the devaluation, there'll be that false compromise, so they will raise your expectations to dash your expectations and then blame you when you become frustrated or upset or hurt or angry. They will use those silent treatments to cause psychological pain. And because you care about the person, you're then feeling anxious and trying to make it up and trying to work out what's happening, not realizing that that person does not care for you, which is why they can do the silent treatment so seemingly well, and they'll not come back until you apologise to them for the things that they actually did to you. They will triangulate you with people to try and put you down, or divide and conquer to isolate you from support so that you don't feel like you've got anyone to talk to. And often with things like the trauma bond, with things like anxiety, we often have self-doubt within our own abilities and begin to isolate ourselves from support, not realising the very person we're going to help us is the one that is sinking us. They will project their thoughts, their feelings, their behaviour, their wrongdoings onto you. They will purposefully flirt in front of you and then call you jealous. They will purposefully use one of your weaknesses against you, and then when you get upset, they will say that you're too sensitive. They will cause that intrigue within the relationship, lying through omission, not fully telling you the full story. So when you go to find out what is actually happening, they'll say that you have trust issues, that you're insecure. And if you react to them, they'll tell you that you're overreacting to things that most people would react in that manner to what a narcissist is actually doing to you. It's just through their gaslighting, we don't recognise what they're actually doing. They humiliate who you are as a person. They invalidate who you are as a person. They intimidate you so that you fear stepping out of line. They will raise their voice. They will talk over you. They will interrupt you. They will shame you and they will blame you, and then they will gaslight it all onto being your fault, your problem. They will say things such as, deal with it, I never said that, it's not my problem, it is what it is, to cause you more psychological pain while they get away with doing the things that they do. And if they take it too far, they'll offer that false apology of, I'm sorry you, I'm sorry if, I'm sorry but, because they don't recognise their wrongdoing. So they believe it's because of you they've acted the way they have. They believe they've got to apologise to you because you've made them apologise, which is often why their behaviour will then get worse. If they haven't got new supply or other supply lined up, a narcissist can get supply from their partner, from their children, from friends, from work colleagues. If they haven't got the supply that they require lined up, this is when they offer that intermittent reinforcement of the idealisation. When they are representing themselves or the relationship or the career prospects or the future as better than it actually is, when they are selling you an illusion of something that will never be, they often use the idealisation stage within the love bombing stage of the relationship also. This is when sometimes they can offer you that future faking, where they've found out your dreams in the beginning and they will mirror those dreams back to you again in the distant future, so that you can't call them out that they're never going to actually do that, but they suck you in with that false hope, that false promise of something that they actually sold themselves to be in the beginning. So we believe that is who they are. As they've devalued us, we believe we are at the problem. So if we just work harder to please them, they will deliver on these things. However, they rarely do, only if it meets a need of their own. And when they don't, and we call them out on it, they bring back that devaluation and they start saying, I never said that. You're losing your mind. You're going crazy. Or they'll find a reason of something you didn't do for them as to why they're no longer going to do that for you, even though that's something they actually wanted. In the love bombing stage, They might have realised you want to get married and have 3 children, so they will have said they wanted the same. Then they will promise you these things to then not deliver them. But as you think it's something they want too, you work harder to try and achieve it with them. The same as a boss when it comes to a promotion. In that job interview, you will say what you want. They will deliver those back to you and say, this is exactly what we're looking for. Then they will let you down time and time again, claiming that you need to work harder to prove yourself to them. Yet the harder you work, the less they actually deliver those things they promise to you. And even worse, they might triangulate you and they might offer it to a work colleague and go above you. And when you ask them, if you dare to ask them about it, they'll bring it back onto being your problem somehow, which in one sense it is our problem. We need to get out of that job. We need to get out of that relationship. We need to create that distance. Unfortunately, we are gaslighted into believing that we are the problem and we need to work harder to please them. And it's often not until we are out of the situation that we can begin to see it more clearly. Although through things like trauma bond, it's difficult to break free. However, it is always possible, and there is a much better life after narcissistic abuse. So with the idealisation, they are offering those intermittent reinforcements to keep you trapped, living in hope that they will be the person they claim themselves to be. Then there's the discard, when they no longer find you of use to them, when they have drained you emotionally or financially, when they reject you. And it's usually done in cruel and calculated ways, and often when you needed them the most, because they've sunk you. But because then it's not about the narcissist, and the narcissist isn't the centre of attention, they will discard you to gain attention elsewhere, leaving you to pick up the pieces. Often through the discard, many move straight on, and through the discard, they don't want to be perceived by others as the one with the problem. So they will smear your name, because they want to escape accountability for the things that they actually did to you. So they will twist the story somehow and claim the things that they did to you, you did to them. They will claim that you're the abusive one, that you're the crazy one, that you've got addiction problems. They will, whatever they did to you, they'll be telling others you did to them. They will often get in there first. They will often get in there before the relationship is even over, to sell their side of the story to other people, to gain sympathy, to gain attention, to gain support, and to escape any form of responsibility for what they have done. They will get others to question your reputation. They will get others to question your behaviour. They will tell half-truths to divert attention away from themselves, negative attention away from themselves, and gain positive attention and support. They will play the hero or they will play the victim, but they will never play the villain. They are the villain, but they don't want to admit to that, because then people might actually start standing up to them, which a narcissist would just deny, lie, project, blame shift and gaslight. And then with many, not all, they will hoover. They will come to suck you back into their games, to spit you back out like you are dirt. They don't respect you in the way you respect them. They don't hold that loyalty to you in the way you are loyal to them. They don't trust you in the way that you trust them. They just see you as an appliance to use as and when they need, and discard when you are no longer suitable for them. They just come back to repeat the cycle. This is when they can offer that future faking again. They can offer those false apologies. They can offer those false apologies. They can pity play, claim that they've got some sort of illness or they need your help in some way. They can offer false promises of change, offer to go to counselling, offer to get married, have a baby. They might just send you a happy birthday message and ask how you are you celebrating the holidays, to try and suck you back in to their games. And then once they've sucked you back in, often because we still are not aware of who they are and what they are doing, and we still believe that we can make it work with them. Things in society like relationships have rough patches lead us to believe that it's a rough patch and we can work it out with them. You can't work it out with people who are only ever in it for themselves. It takes an average of 7 attempts to get out of a narcissistic relationship. So some people do get out on the first attempt. Some people, it takes longer than 7. It all depends on the circumstances you've lived, your background history, the kind of narcissistic person you're with. There is always hope. There is always a safe way out. So when it comes to asking yourself, are we just going through some relationship difficulties, which a lot of people can toy between, oh, it's just a phase, because narcissistic people can create that idealisation stage, and it can last a long time. Just as things are going along well, is often when they can also discard you. So it can leave us full of self-doubt and questions of, is it us, is it them? So a few questions to ask yourself are, do they bring out the best in you, or do they bring out the worst in you? If they bring out the best in you, then yes, you can potentially go to couples counselling and work it out. If they bring out the worst in you, they're going to manipulate you at couples counselling into getting their own way. Is the relationship give and take? So sometimes the scales might be at 50-50 depending who's doing what within their lives. Someone might need more support and it might balance up to 90-10, but then at some point it would level back off and it might go this way again. If you are doing all the groundwork to forever get dug further and further under, they are not helping you, they are not supporting you, they are sinking you. So is the relationship based on give and take, or is it all you give and they take? Can you be yourself around them? If you can be yourself around someone, then yes, you can have a few relationship difficulties. If you are walking on eggshells, if you are living in fear of who they're going to be when they wake up, when they come through the door, when you ask them what they would like for dinner, this is a major red flag that you need to get away from them. Are you happy? Because happiness is one of the main things in life. You have to be at your best to give your best. And are they happy? If they're constantly complaining and saying that you need to work harder and you need to do this, then they're not happy. So yes, it's difficult to walk away from people, but if you love them, it's time to let them go so that they can find their happiness and you can go and find yours. What do your feelings say? What do your instincts say? It's difficult listening to our instincts because often we don't know what they're telling us when they are telling us something, but we can just feel off around someone. We can just feel off in a situation. We can make very valid excuses up within our own mind to discredit our instincts. A narcissist can make very valid excuses up to discourage our true reality. So are you constantly thinking, I need to get out, I need to find a way out, I need to leave, I need to stop communicating with this person, but feeling guilty, so clinging on to the hope and not wanting to let go, feeling that trauma bond of panic of what you will do without them? That is a red flag you need to leave. If your instincts are telling you that it is just a temporary thing and you can work through it, and you do work through it, and it's not a repeated cycle of events time and time again, because when you're repeating that cycle, you're never going to change that cycle. At some point, you've got to make a choice to step away from a narcissist's games, to start walking in your own lane. So do you support each other? Are you supportive of each other? Or is the narcissist always saying things to you such as, when I've done this, when I've done that, when I've achieved this, if you just bear with me for this, and are you the one doing everything to help them? And often they'll be calling you lazy, even though you're the one that's doing everything. Or they will bring up scenarios of the times they've done something for you from way back when. But if you bring up something you did from them, they don't remember that. So are you supportive of each other? Because if you are no longer supportive of each other, you are not for each other. Do you respect each other? Do you respect each other's feelings? Do you respect each other's needs? Do you understand where each other is coming from? Are you both willing to compromise, or is it their way or you hit the highway? And the biggest one is, do you feel safe? Because if you don't feel safe, it's time to find a safe way out. When it comes to getting out, abuse is abuse. So the best way and the safest way is to, if you don't have family for support, is to contact your local domestic violence shelters, hotlines for support in finding a safe route out. Do not tell them in person. Someone who feels entitled and lacks empathy to care, you do not want to tell them in person. You may feel like you owe it to them, but you owe it to yourself to get out safely. If they put you in this situation, you don't owe them your explanations. If they're unwilling to explain to you, you don't need to carry on explaining to them. Once you are out, try and talk to someone to get your feelings validated of the things that you have been through, because through fear, obligation, guilt and all the gaslighting, it is a very confusing situation to go through, and we have to start piecing our lives back together. Talking to people who understand helps. It's just finding the right person to talk to and only opening up as much as you personally want to. You will not get closure from a narcissist. Closure is something that you have to give yourself. Recognise the situation you were in, recognise that you've got out of that situation, and start to think about where you would like life to take you now. Some people do find writing the ex a letter, explaining your point of view in that letter, and then destroying the letter. Do not send it to the ex, because they will just use those parts against you. Some people find talking to themselves as if it's happened to someone they really love and really care for, and what advice would you give that person? So if someone you really cared about and lived the same situation you have, what would you be telling them to do? And then listening to your own advice. Your own advice is key. It's just finding the right advice that suits you, which is very difficult when you're being gaslighted into believing that you're not good enough and believing that your ability of thinking isn't good enough. It is difficult to do, however, it's possible. Lots of self-care, so things like exercise, mindfulness, yoga, meditation, breathing techniques, journaling, blogging, whatever it is that helps you. Something where you can focus your mind on your future and not your past. Yes, we have to work through the past, but we don't have to keep dragging it into our future. Work through it in the present so that we can let it go. Creating new routines. Often it's not always the person we miss, we can also miss the routines. So creating new routines for you that suit you. Start doing all those things that you were stopped from doing, and start enjoying life as you want to live it again. If you survive the relationship, you will survive recovery. I shall add in the description the individual videos that explain more on love bombing, the devaluation, the idealisation, the discard, the smear campaign and the Hoover. I shall also link the video on how to safely leave a narcissist into the description. I am full for one-to-one coaching. I have partnered with BetterHelp. Their sponsored link is in the description if you want to look at them to talk to, because it's very difficult at the moment to get out and talk to people. Finding the right help. So there's support groups as well, but find a support group that you feel comfortable in, and only open as much as you feel comfortable in doing so. Often we have a light bulb moment that kind of sets off the series of events that makes us actually make the choice to leave and stay free. So whatever your light bulb moment was, if you feel comfortable in sharing, please add that into the comments to help other people recognise potentially what their light bulb moment has been or might be. Thank you very much for listening, and go out there and create the day that you deserve, because you do deserve to have an amazing day. Bye.